Anyone like local person, maybe small that you want to plug that you just like on the low?
Nah, I listen to a lot of local people.
I mean, dude, it's smart. You just call out Billie Eilish, shoot your shot with her, and you're set.
Check the stats, dog. I can see the future with my mask off. Big hang time, I'm a blast off.
Today we welcome RJ Jones to the HangTime Headlines podcast. RJ is ESPN's 10th ranked basketball prospect in the 2024 class. He's listed at 6'9", 226 with offers from some big time programs such as Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Illinois, and more. How you doing, RJ?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. No John in the building, just me. I'm your host, Schwallie. HangTime Headlines. Like, comment, subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, rate, review, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You know the deal. And we got a big interview today, so let's jump right into it. We had Ian Jackson on the podcast the other day, and he said he didn't start hooping until 6th grade, which is kind of nuts. So pretty typical there, picking it up at a young age. And did you have any parents, maybe siblings, who inspired you to first, start playing ball? Or was it just like you watched a game and you were like, yo, this is sick, I got to pick this up?
No, it was probably my dad. Yeah, he inspired me.
And did he hoop growing up?
Yes, he did.
Did he play anywhere notable?
No, he went JUCO route.
I mean, honestly, that's a very successful route. Heads sleep on that, but JUCO has legit basketball. I mean, we've seen many stories of players popping out of there, and even athletes that we interviewed, a lot of their parents were actually JUCO parents, and then all of a sudden they have this kid, and they have this big basketball background, which is super beneficial. So, do you have any coaches growing up, or was it really your dad your big mentor in basketball, would you say?
It was probably my dad, and then other coaches came along the way.
Do you have a hoop at your house? Like, was it at the crib, or were you, playing pickup outside? Were you going to the gym? What was the setup like at a young age?
No, it was at my house, and then we had different spots around the city where I could go hoop.
And when did you, first start playing organized basketball? Not just shooting a little jumper here or there, but really, playing in games?
Probably, let's say, 4th, 5th grade. Because that's when I really got into, middle school ball and AAU.
All right, so you play both? Because that's one thing we always ask our prospects. There's some will just play AAU, some will be hooping in middle school, some will do both. What route did you take?
I took both.
You took both? All right, love to see that. Lots of basketball. And were you a forward from day one, bro? Because I was looking at your shot, and that's not the shot of a big man. It's too smooth, you know what I'm saying? So what position did you first start playing?
Center. Then I gradually got into, handling and then getting my shot off quick. So I could be, a wing forward. Yeah.
Center, so big man. Did you have that size from an early age?
Yes.
Okay, so that makes sense, but that's still impressive because I was going to say, I would have assumed you were a point guard growing up, grew late, all of a sudden you got the stroke, but no, that's really impressive that you've just been developing that as a big man from day one. I think that's something that down the line is definitely going to be beneficial. Do you have any friends that you grew up playing that maybe you still hoop with now?
No.
No, okay, and so that's fair, man. I mean, a lot of basketball is a journey, and you got a family, but that family definitely changes along the way. Can you, I guess, walk me through your first memorable, either game or, play, something where you were like, wow, I'm half decent at basketball,
Yeah, hard one. Well, in kindergarten, it was a long time ago, but, I hit this half-court shot, and, we were in, we were playing in front of, the whole high school and stuff. They had a varsity team and stuff. And I hit the half-court shot. Everybody went crazy.
Damn, the half-court shot in kindergarten, bro? There's no way I could have even, tossed a basketball half-court. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Whole high school going wild. And I guess that's a nice little transition because we like to talk about the crowds. I mean, you got that exposure, I guess, from kindergarten with the gym going crazy. But what impact would you say the fans have in basketball? Because especially with that sport, it's not like football or anything else. They are on the court. You can hear them. It's loud.
Yeah, so I would say, if it's, your home team and, the fans are going for you, that, motivates you and stuff to, do the best you can. And plus, if you're at a away stadium or anything, that can motivate you even more if they're saying boo and stuff.
we feel that. Would you talk any trash? You know, not to the fans, bro. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you're calling them out. You know, don't talk to me like that. But do you talk any trash on the court? Is that a part of your game at all?
No, I just play. I don't talk about trash.
RJ, not gonna lie, dude, we've run a bunch of basketball interviews, and you're the first one that said, like, nah, man, I keep it to myself. It's like Kawhi, you're silent killer. I love that. So, what's the loudest stadium at this point you've ever played in? Because I'm sure it's not that kindergarten half-court shot. You've definitely been in some arenas, you know?
Yeah. Probably, I guess you could say USA maybe.
Yep, saw that. USA ball, was going through the highlights.
Yeah, and if there was another one, I don't remember. But USA was pretty big.
When you're at a loud stadium, when you got other basketball players talking trash, because they're not all silent, how do you take that? You just sit there and you don't respond at all?
Nah, I might look at them or something, but like, I don't say anything.
I kind of love that, dude. That's sneaky. That's kind of fire. Let's go back a little half second and talk about middle school and AAU, and how was that really different from each other? Was there a higher level of competition in one? Was one a little more fun? Did you get better coaching in one? How did your experiences differ? Because you mentioned you were playing both at the same time.
So in fourth grade, that's when I started middle school and AAU. So I played 5th and 6th in fourth grade. And then in 5th grade, I started playing, I played 5th grade, I think I played 7th, 8th. And then 6th grade, and throughout that, I played 7th and 8th. And then when I got to 8th grade, I played for varsity. This is my 3rd year playing varsity. And I think AAU was way funner because, like, we got to go places, and then there's, like, people on your team that is, like, at your skill level or maybe a bit under. And then middle school was just, I mean, we won everything because the other schools around that were local weren't, like us, like, because we were real good.
So do you have maybe like a favorite memory from that era, that middle school AAU era?
Yeah, I had this 31-point game, and that was probably the most memorable. And I think it was the championship game in 5th grade. We were down 14, and then we came back because we were trailing the whole way, and then we just came back.
How much time was left when y'all were down 14?
Maybe, I think it was the first half, but then they kept going back and forth. But then we finally pulled it off.
And dude, we've seen the tape, okay? Like, we've been watching your highlights. You got some athleticism. It's clear you can absolutely throw it down. So when did you put down that first dunk? Was that in that middle school AAU era, or did that come a little later?
7th grade, I think that was after the season. It was on Valentine's Day, so it was pretty nice.
That one true love, basketball. Throw it down on Valentine's Day. Love it. And so was that when you realized that you had a lot of potential as a player, or was there a specific moment where you were like, yo, I can take this basketball thing and actually go places, be that, you know, college, the pros, make a future for myself? Like, when did you realize, oh, I'm half decent at basketball, you know?
Probably when I, like, 4th, 5th grade, because AAU and stuff, like, that's when I, like, really got into it. So, yeah, probably 4th, 5th grade.
And you mentioned, too, you were a big kid from day one, so you were probably dominating then, you know? Your listed size, there's a bunch of websites out there, bunch of different stuff, whole lot of nonsense. We always got to clarify this. 6'9", 195. Is that accurate as only a sophomore in high school right now?
I'm 226.
226. All right. Yo, we're going to contact ESPN, get this squared away. You've been putting that work in the gym, bro. I love to see that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So when did you like first start training seriously for basketball in the gym, in terms of not like on the court, but the weightlifting, the mass? It's clear you put on some weight since whenever these nonsense websites came out saying you were 195. So when did that work really start, you know, in the weight room?
Probably 7th grade, somewhere, or the beginning of 8th grade. I needed it for varsity because I was kind of chubby, And then once I got in the gym, I just like straightened out and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, that's fair, bro. We're all college athletes. We're all lifting too, and you gotta fill out that frame. You know, that's one of the things that, like, when athletes go to college and then make that transition to the NBA, I think there's a huge difference in the gym and the meal prep and all the training, and you just see these dudes get absolutely yoked out of nowhere. So as I mentioned, you know, we be lifting. What are some of your favorite exercises? Bench, squat, you know, maybe deadlift, all sorts of stuff. What are you hitting when you go in the gym?
I like bench and a lot of arm stuff.
And what you putting up? Maybe, you know, not a 1 rep max on the bench, but what are you putting up in terms of weight? Because it's really tough, bro. We talk to the football players, and they're like 5'10", 5'11", short little running back. He can put a bunch of bench reps up because his arms are tiny, you know? The bench doesn't got to move very far. But you're 6'9", bro. Like, you simply have to move the weight a lot further. So what you putting up on the bench?
Around like 230.
Oh, big, dude. That's more than I've heard. That's a lot of weight. Damn, bro. You're not lying. You're getting that work, and there's a reason you're up to 226. All right, so let's take it back to the court for a little bit. I mentioned the three-point stroke earlier, bro. Your shot is beautiful, and we've seen your ability to stretch the floor. I was watching this video, and I think it was your high school coach talking, and he said you were like the second or third best shooter he'd ever worked with. And I just watched a bunch of your film. I was like, no way, get that out of here. Like, this kid's wet. Who you been working with? All right, he mentioned Joel Embiid. So it's clear, you know, there's some talent around the area. So talk about your three-point shooting, and has your coach really helped you at all, being that he's worked with some experienced players like Joel who can absolutely, like, shoot a basketball?
Yeah, so I think my dad taught me how to shoot at first, and then once I got older, coaches kept telling me, like, different coaches taught me, like, well, they fixed my shot, so I just grabbed what all the coaches said and, like, put it together. And then the last coach that I am now, we have a shooting coach at The Rock. He just continually fixes my shot and tells me new things to do and stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, modern NBA, you're going to need that big man who can shoot. That's just an absolute must. So how big a part of your game is your three-point shooting?
It's a really big part. Yeah, I use it a lot.
That spacing, you get the dribble drive, you get to throw down. So you mentioned that you scored, I believe it was like 30, 31 points in middle school. What's the most points you've ever put up in a game?
44.
44? Love that. In the 40s. We're going to get a 50 burger one time, bro. I can't wait to see that. Absolute bucket. You got a little mid-range game, fadeaways too, or is it just three and drive, you know?
Yeah, that's what I've been working on. More driving, more handling, and more mid-range stuff this summer.
It was noted in an article, I believe, that I saw. I also was just, dude, I was watching your highlights. You can dish the ball around too. So can you talk a little bit about getting your teammates involved and what role that plays for you?
Yeah, I love getting my teammates involved. Like, ever since I was younger, I've been a pretty good passer, good IQ around the court. So yeah, it's a pretty good part too in my game.
I mean, I did see that you mentioned you model your game after AD, I think, and he is a pretty good passer for a big man. So it's really good when you got that big man who's all around, who can dime it out. Let's talk maybe a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. I saw you blocking some heads. Can you talk a little bit about that? How big are you in the paint? You know, you get that energy more out of getting a big block or maybe taking a charge?
Charges. I love charges. Last year I was the top person on my team to get charges. Yeah, I love charges.
Damn, that's crazy, because when the big man can take a charge and also come up with a block, that's scary. What about steals? You be picking the pockets of these big men, because some of them, they'll be fumbling and bumbling all around, and you got some dribble moves. You know, you can handle the ball. So is that something that you go for on the defensive side of the game, or are you just trying to block them when you get to the rim, or, you know, set your feet and draw a charge?
Yeah, I do a lot of steals in the paint. So last year I started getting on the top of the press, like full court press. I was at the top, and I got a lot of steals from that.
I mean, those steals going to turn into easy transition points. So let's talk about another part of basketball we like to get into, the film. How much film do you watch right now?
So that's what I'm working on right now, is watching a lot more film, because I I haven't been really doing that. So this season and next summer, I'm gonna start getting more into that.
And do you think that's film more on like your own game and trying to improve it, or is it, looking at maybe a potential matchup that you're gonna face, or trying to, look at someone like, an Anthony Davis who you model your game after and see if you can maybe steal one of his moves? Like, what exactly are you looking for in film?
Probably things to fix up on my game and the opponent that I might be playing against.
Okay, film's a big part of the game. I think it's honestly slept on because you just see these players who will take players from older generations' moves and just absolutely run wild with them. So let's talk about some food, man. You're bulking up, 226. What are you eating, bro? You're 6'9", you're huge. Massive human being.
Nothing special, really. Just my mom cooks a lot at home, and yeah, it's nothing special.
Dude, I love those good home-cooked meals from my parents. What about going out, have to pick one fast food? What are you grabbing?
Oof, it's a hard one. Probably either like Zaxby's or Culver's.
Those are some sneaky choices. I like that. So food, gym, film, ball. Whole other side is academics. How are you able to balance the academics with all the ball you're playing, all the weight room, work that you're putting in, all the film work? That's a lot of time, So where does academics play a role in your life?
It's a huge part. My parents harp on me about academics because, if I get hurt then and I can't play basketball again, that's when academics just takes over. So academics is a very big part of my life.
100%. That's a great response. And so when you're looking at schools, do you look at a school like, I want to go to a Duke or a UNC or a Texas, like, because they got good basketball and that good academic program? Or are you looking for a school that, just is traditionally a basketball powerhouse? Maybe it's a Kentucky and you're like, they got a great basketball program. I want to be at a school that just lives, eats, breathes, dies basketball. Are you thinking like arenas? I want to be in a place that's packed every night. What are you prioritizing in terms of like when you look at different colleges?
I need basketball, like diehard basketball and academics. Yeah, I need the academics too.
Dude, the facts are you're a stud basketball prospect. I think you're going to go places, but to have that mindset where you got the academics and you're like, I need to, get my degree and all of that, that's a really good one. Even if you don't get it at the beginning and you finish it up later, I think those basketball players that are well educated, they can just quite simply even just do more with their money that they make. So let's talk a little bit about the college recruiting process. The thing I like to ask all the guests that we have on is, can you talk a little bit about that first offer that you got? Maybe it's not the biggest name school ever, but there's some validation there. You've been putting in all the work, and to have a school come after you and give you that first offer, what was that like, and like, how did you feel? Walk me through that a little bit.
It was great. I got it 8th grade year, and yeah, it was a pretty special moment.
From which school and how did it happen? Was it that like the first time you were noticed by college scouts, or was it like, oh, this is completely out of nowhere, or they see your film somewhere? How'd that all go down?
So I think they see me from, Cleveland State was the school, and there's this dude, Alec Oglesby. He went there, so they used to come in a lot, and I guess they see me, and I was putting in a lot of work, and then, yeah, that's how they noticed me.
It's good to see that pay off. How many offers are you up to now?
5.
They're going to keep stacking, I promise you. Have you visited any camps, and have they played a role at all in your recruiting process? I saw you at Team USA Basketball, but that's just not a camp. That's a basketball team, a national basketball team. Have you visited any camps?
Not any camp.
Not any camps. Have you met any coaches? You mentioned that one coach from Cleveland State that saw you playing, and we know it's very tricky with the NCAA and the whole recruiting process, but, have you reached out to any coaches?
Yeah. Sure, I see a lot of coaches.
Can you maybe talk about one cool experience you've had?
like Kansas was, I think that was one of the ones maybe right after the Cleveland State one. He was like really interested in me, and we've been talking a lot and stuff. So yeah.
All right, all right. And was that cool to just be talking to like a big time coach like that? You know, like you can send as many messages as you want, but it doesn't mean they're gonna respond. So you know what I'm saying? You connect with a Kansas coach, you're like, all right, this dude can even teach me something, even if I don't go to the school.
Mhm. Yeah, he was really big.
That's good to see, and you see how I ask those questions, bro. It's you reaching out, you know. We know the NCAA process. We're all college athletes. It's a mess. And speaking of that process, it takes a lot, bro. It's a lot of energy. How have your friends, maybe family, and others helped you throughout this college recruiting process?
It's been great. Yeah, it's just been great. A lot of learning opportunities and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
And are your parents the most influential when it comes to that, or do you have any, you know, tight friends that you've been around? How does the social circle work in terms of like that process and who's overseeing it for you? Maybe it's just you, you know, you're like, this is my decision. I'm good at basketball. I'm picking wherever I want to go.
My parents play a big part, and the coaching staff at my school.
It's good. That's good. I like to see that basketball, that tight social circle. And so, like, I've been through high school, RJ, but I was just not a top basketball prospect, not in the slightest. Do you feel like you have a spotlight or any added pressure just being the athlete that you are?
No.
Not at all. This is so great to hear, bro. Just no pressure, living life, no trash talk. It seems like you're just chilling. You're cooling it, bro. You're just putting in that work and like not worried about it. I think that's a great mentality.
Yeah.
So have you matched up against any other college recruits or current college players, maybe NBA players that you've trained with? Talk about some cool experiences in terms of, you know, people that you've played with on the court.
Probably some UF alumni people. Like I played with Billy Donovan's son
Okay.
and Pick Up, and other players that played at UF. They came to the Rock, and then you got Scotty Wilbekin and other alumni from the Rock that come back.
And so you keep mentioning, you know, The Rock. Have you ever reached out to Joel Embiid? Has he ever contacted you? Or are there any other notable alumni that you've reached out to? Because, I mean, you're a highly touted prospect. If I can find you, I'm sure Joel knows about this kid, RJ, who's hooping at his former school.
No, he hasn't really reached out to the Rock. He only came here 1 year, really. Doesn't really come back and stuff. But Scotty Wilbekin, yes, and Mitchell Wilbekin.
And it's good just to have those almost mentors in a way who have been through the process before who can help you out. So how'd it go when you were playing pickup against these, you know, UF, these Florida players? How'd it go? I mean, because these are alumni, maybe current players. These are heads that have been at the next level. So how do you think your game competed against them?
It was a learning opportunity. Got to learn some stuff from them. And I just got to see where I am and what I need to improve on. It was good. Good learning experience.
That's what it's all about, jumping up to that next level, just learning, taking some bullets, you know, and improving your game. So we've talked a lot of positives, but everyone goes through struggles. Do you have any tough moments in your basketball career that you wouldn't mind sharing? And how did you, like, overcome this obstacle?
Probably, like, little injuries throughout the way. Those were really tough for me, but I just had to keep my mind straight and know there will be a better outcome.
And that's not unusual, bro. NBA players, you get nicked and bruised. You're playing a bunch of basketball. What is maybe one injury that you went through where, you know, you felt like that changed your character? Can you walk me through maybe one of those injuries that you had to recover from and how specifically that was just, you know, tough on you, not being able to hoop, not being able to play with the boys?
I had a foot injury in 8th grade. That was pretty tough. And a lot of growing pains in my knees. That because I had to sit out a couple games and stuff. Yeah, probably those. Yeah.
Nothing major though. I mean, NBA players, as I said, they're dealing with it. So we saw that you modeled your game after Anthony Davis. Are there any other NBA players that you'd say your game resembles?
Starting to build into like a KD in a way. Got getting my handles right, quick shot up. Yeah, things like that.
I mean, you got that length, so I'm sure you can just pop a shot over pretty much anyone like KD. Would you say KD, Anthony Davis, is your favorite NBA player? And if not, who is your favorite NBA player?
Yeah, probably KD and AD.
And you're from Florida, or at least going to school there. So, what is your favorite team? Is it the Nets, Lakers? What teams are you rooting for?
I don't really have a favorite team, but I think the next championship and who's going to be in that, I think Lakers and Nets. But we'll see.
Both those teams stay healthy, bro. They're in business.
Yeah.
NBA players, even just non-NBA, non-basketball players at all, like myself. I played some 2K. We see players playing 2K. Did you play 2K at all?
Nah, I don't play video games.
I love it. Just work. I'm sure you understand 2K, though, and I gotta ask you this question. If you were to get a 99 in any attribute based on your game, what would you give yourself a 99 in?
Shooting.
And what about if you could just, get a 99 in any part of your game, not realistic at all? Like, you just get to pick, and you are a 99 whatever. What are you picking?
If balance is a thing,
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
athleticism.
Do you have your vertical measured? Do you have any clue what your bounce is? I mean, bro, we're seeing you get up there. You're a big dude, but obviously if you could jump like LeBron James or something, it'd be impossible to stop you. What's your vertical at, you know?
No, I don't know. I haven't measured it in a while.
Well, you can jump, I promise you, not flat-footed. A lot of basketball, no 2K, no video games. It seems like you're just chilling. Do you have any off-the-field interest? Like, if you just got time to yourself, maybe, you're taking a day off, maybe you're, just before you're going to bed or something. Like, I have no clue. You watching Netflix, you go to the beach. What are you doing? Maybe one thing in your free time that isn't basketball related.
I like listening to music and drawing.
I like drawing. That's cool. Are you like a good artist, bro? That's fire.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so low key, dude. You just kind of slid that in there. Another thing we don't hear. This is just a unique interview. Music question. Gotta ask it. What type of music you listening to? What type of rap? What type of artist? Maybe it's not rap, but for the most part, the basketball players, it's been rap.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to rap, but that's not like my thing. I just like chill music. Like, I guess Billie Eilish, stuff like that. I'm not really a rap person.
You're just chill, RJ. You're very low key, cool in it. I like the mentality. Billie Eilish, banger. Any other artists you want to shout out that you listen to?
Maverick City.
Okay.
Worship music.
Anyone like local? Any person, maybe small that you want to plug that you just like on the low?
Nah, I listen to a lot of local people.
I mean, dude, it's smart. You just call out Billie Eilish, shoot your shot with her, and you're set. That's all you got to do. So, before the games, are you listening to Billie Eilish, or do you have, maybe a little more pregame music that gets you amped up going into the games? What would you say? Maybe you're not listening to music at all. Maybe it's when you're training, when you got to, get that, can't be too chill. You got to get going. You know what I'm saying? What are you listening to?
Well, that's probably when I would listen to some rap and stuff to get me going. And then, depends how I feel. Probably listen to Billie Eilish and stuff. Yeah.
Elite, bro. Elite. What is something, maybe one piece of advice you like to give yourself now for 5 years down the line?
Work hard no matter what, and don't take things for granted, because you don't know when it could be taken away.
Wow. That's the first, answer that anyone has given to that question that I myself would give to that question. I mean, even life, I'm not going to get all philosophical with you here, but, dude, it can disappear in an instant. And people that realize that, it's just a blessing to be around and you just got to keep putting in that work and appreciate all you got. That's a mature, humble thing to say. So let's flip it around a little bit. This is a trippy one. Vice versa. What's one piece of advice that maybe your older self, if they could look down upon your younger self, you right now, what's one piece of advice that maybe you'd give yourself? You know, if you're thinking a little like critically about yourself, your own habits, anything, what's one thing, like one piece of advice that maybe your older self would look down and be like, yo, RJ, like, do this. You know what I'm saying?
Keep your head up, keep working, and keep God first.
You got all the priorities straightened out, RJ. All of them, dude. This is just a sound interview. You're so chill. I feel like I could just sit here and just, like, send questions your way for hours, and I'm just going to get the same, just, like, cool and it response that's just, like, down to earth. Oh, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anyone you want to shout out right now? I'm going to say it, mention your parents, but anyone else you want to shout out right now before we wrap this thing up?
My school, The Rock. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And the parents, bro. You got to shout out the parents. Shout out the parents. I did it for you, but shout out the parents, bro. They support us. All right, HangTime headlines. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, social media, all of the nonsense. Toss a thumbs up. RJ, it's been a pleasure, bro. Absolute pleasure. I appreciate you giving us the time. Great interview. Young ballers out there, listen to this one. Take away from RJ that mentality. Don't get worked up about it. Appreciate the life. Down to earth. Stream some Billie Eilish. Bangers only. And that's all I got for you. RJ, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Ballin' crazy with the hang time.